So we'll start with a centering practice. Okay, so I think most of us are seated. But if you want to be reclined, go ahead and be reclined. Right, and just that reminder that this is the shape you put your body in to support you taking your awareness inward. So there's intention to it, but there's an ease to it. So if being in a seated shape is creating a lot of discomfort or pain, or you're noticing the brain kind of going nuts while you're here, then lay down by all means, okay? And then once you find yourself in a shape that works for you, we'll take a couple of clearing breaths. So take a deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth. And we'll do that 2 more times, please. Inhale. Exhale. And 1 more. Inhale. Relax the jaw. Exhale. And then just notice the pace and the depth of your breath. And notice any other sensation that may be showing up today. And as you start to get a little more acquainted with your internal landscape this morning, I want you to get really curious about any sort of narrative you're discovering around that. Like if the mind is attached to story to certain things you're noticing. And sometimes it's really subtle. And can you do this with a sense of openness and detachment? Just kind of noticing sensation, noticing thought pattern, and just letting it move through you. And then noticing the part of you that is noticing. Just a couple more breaths here. And then we'll take the palms of the hands together and rub them. And can you really isolate the movement to just the hands and the arms, right? So the chest is relaxed, the face is relaxed. The belly is soft and moving with the breath. Okay. Then let's take one hand and bring it over the heart center, and one hand over the belly. And maybe you don't quite make contact, you let the hands hover, right? So if you've ever practiced Qigong or Tai Chi, there's this element of Qi that you're cultivating when you rub the hands together. And then you kind of play with that energy, like can you feel the heat of your hands on your body or vice versa? And the tops of the shoulders soft. And then very slowly and gently close that gap and let the hands rest on the chest and the belly. You're giving yourself a hug with your hands. And then if you'd like to join, we'll tune in by chanting an Om. So take a deep breath in and out. And then inhale to chant. Om. Next, exhale. If the eyes are closed, please open them. If you are reclined, please come up to seated. And if you've been seated for a bit and you're kind of feeling a little wiggly, you might change the cross of your legs or whatnot. We're going to do a few more things in this shape before we come into something else, okay? So when you find a comfortable shape with the bottom half of the body, we'll bring the hands onto the knees. And I want you to start to think about, you've got the spine, right? And attached to that is this rib cage. And I want you to start to just sway the rib cage from side to side so that the edges are going past the sides of the pelvis. Just notice how that feels, right? So it's like the wholeness of the ribs are just shifting from side to side here. Okay. Continue to keep the tops of the shoulders soft, and then allow that movement to organically start to turn into circles. So you're stirring the rib cage over the pelvis. Okay, so there are a few different approaches to this movement, right? So if you are wanting to build heat and strength, I want you to think about this movement starting in the belly button, and the abdomen muscles are gently contracting to create this movement. If today is a day where softness and openness is more important, I want you to think about just letting the rib cage float and move, okay? Do a couple more rounds in this direction. Nice, guys. And then allow those spirals to get smaller and smaller till you're back at center. Lining the crown of the head over the tailbone. And then start to gently sway the rib cage from side to side. And then begin to stir the ribs in the opposite direction. Right, if you're feeling any sort of stiffness in the shoulders or the neck, maybe you start to get a little more dramatic with this movement, right? So you get the arms involved, maybe tuck the chin as you go back. Nice. Keep that clear channel for the breath through the throat. Okay. And then just like we did in the other direction, slowly start to let those circles get smaller and smaller. So you're back at center. And then find that soft length in the spine. So as the shoulders relax down, the crown of the head rises up towards the ceiling. The sits bones and the tailbone are rooted down gently. Notice how you feel. And then keeping that weightedness in the pelvis, just slowly lift the arms out and up overhead. And as you exhale, keep the arms raised up, but slide the shoulder blades down the back body so it's like your neck is growing longer. And then bring the right hand down to the floor next to you, tenting your fingertips. And just find a gentle side stretch here. And I want you to think about the left hip staying nice and heavy. And take a deep breath into your intercostals, those muscles in between your ribs on the left side. Maybe the right ear comes down to the right shoulder. Okay, and then press into your right fingertips to lift yourself up, go nice and long, and then exhale other side. So then the left fingertips from the floor. Right hip is heavy, and maybe that left ear comes to the left shoulder. Breathe deeply into the ribs. And then inhale, up you come. Okay. And then exhale, we're going to bring the arms down. Good, okay. Maybe you cross the legs a different direction. We're going to do a kriya, a movement with breath in the seated shape, and then we'll get off them. Okay. So we're going to bring the arms out into cactus arms. Okay. And we're gonna start to move our chest forward and back, kind of like cat-cow, but I want you to also think about what's going on with the pelvis here, right? So the pelvis is gonna gently tilt forward and back, okay? So the inhale, and maybe I'll squish you. Okay, so it's kind of an inhale, you kind of press the chest open, and exhale, round and almost let the forearms touch, okay? And you're doing this with your breath, so inhale. If you're familiar with Kundalini yoga, you might be aware that you can start to move a little faster and more intense with this to really activate the heart space and to energize the body. If low back is tender, this is a really sweet movement of just going nice and slow. It creates some synovial fluid in the hip joints and the spine, lubricating joints as you move and breathe. We'll do this for about another minute. Nice, keep going. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay open if you can, okay? Pull the pubic bone up towards the low ribs just a little bit so the low back is broad here. And as you exhale, press the hands out to the sides. So you're stretching through the palms and the forearms here. Keep the shoulders soft and stay here. And if you'd like to, I want you to visualize this light coming from your heart center. It radiates out through the arms and then it encapsulates you from the front, the back, the top, the bottom. A couple more breaths here. Feel the strength of your arms and the stability of your spine. And then on your next exhale, let the arms drift down onto the lap. And then just take a couple of breaths here. Okay. When you're ready, we will transition to tabletop. Okay, so yeah, some of you are starting to move intuitively as we all wait for each other to come into the shape together. So if you get there and your body's asking for a certain type of movement, give it to it. Okay, so it might be cat-cow, might be swaying the hips. Okay. Eventually we'll come to this shape together and find stillness and hook the toes. So think about the toes spreading pretty wide. Okay. And the low belly is lifting just a bit here, and then start to shift your weight back so we're stretching through the feet a bit here. So it's almost like you're coming into child's pose but not bringing the head down, okay? And then slowly start to shift forward until you're in kind of a supported plank. So as you come forward and the shoulders come past the wrist, start to press the finger pads down more and glue the shoulder blades to the back ribs so the chest comes forward a bit. And then slowly come back, stretch through the feet. And then inhale forward. So we're just going to move back and forth this way a few times. So hopefully you're feeling a bit of a stretch in the bottoms of the feet and maybe also in the hands and the forearms. And continuing to warm up the core here a bit. Okay. We'll come back to center here. And then just lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog to find some length for the legs. Okay, keep that broadness through the collarbone by wrapping the triceps back as you move the shoulder blades to the back body. Keep that broadness through the soles of the feet and lift the sits bones up towards the ceiling as you root the heels down. And then play around with engaging your lower belly muscles to see if you can tilt your pelvis. So think about the pelvic floor lifting up. So the tailbone starts to tuck a bit here. Let the head hang, let the face be flat. Okay, and then slowly come back to tabletop position, please. Okay, if the wrists are feeling a little tight or tender, just take a moment and come off the hands for a second. Find some hand rotations here. Maybe shake them out. Because then we're going right back, right back down. Okay. So keeping the low belly nice and lifted so the low back is supported here. Slide your right foot back behind you, okay? And then bring the left fingertips forward and up, and then lift the right foot up. So you're in this kind of shape right here, okay? Take an inhale here, reach as long as you can, and then exhale, tap the knee to the elbow and then tuck the chin. And then inhale, extend. Try to keep the hip points pointing down as you round and come out. And then moving with your breath here. So inhale, extend, exhale, round. Two more, please. Okay, come back to extension. And then tabletop position. Sway the hips from side to side a couple of times. Okay, then find a cat-cow a couple of times. And then shift back into child's pose, please. So if you can, I want you to really think about prioritizing lengthening through the side body. So the hands are walking forward quite a bit. So you're creating this traction from the hips all the way through the fingertips here. Let the head be heavy. And then find a side stretch and start to walk the hands to the left, sinking the right hip down. Then walk the hands to the right, please. Sink the left hip down. Then come back for center. Take one deep breath here. And then slowly rise yourself back up to tabletop position. Okay. Find your stability here. Okay. And then extend the left leg out behind you. Okay. And do this first so the hips are square, the belly is engaged, and then slide the right hand forward and up. As you're doing this, think about that shoulder staying away from the ear and the shoulder blade doing a lot of work here. And then lift the left foot up off of the floor. Exhale, knee to elbow, round the spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. A few more times, please. Inhale, extend. Nice, you guys. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Two more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. I lost count. I think that's two. Okay. So slowly bring the hand and the knee down. Okay. Sway the hips from side to side a couple of times. Okay. Then find a cat-cow. Okay. Then staying in your tabletop position, come down onto your forearms, please, and interlace your fingers. Okay, so palms are facing each other, and the elbows are either directly below your shoulders or a little more narrow here, okay? Hook your toes, and then lift your hips up and back into a gentle dolphin, okay? So knees are generously bent here. Think about the elbows and the forearms pressing down and towards each other to support the shoulders. And then lift your low belly to get your hips up. Let's take a couple breaths here. You might think about pressing the chest towards the legs a little more. And then slowly lower the knees down. And come back to child's pose. So again, extending the arms long. Head is heavy. But this time, bend the elbows, palms touching, and bring the thumbs to the backs of the skull or the neck, wherever it lands. And then maybe walk the elbows forward some more to get some more opening in the armpits and the side body. Two deep breaths here. Okay, and then up we come. First tabletop position, and then Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knees, look forward. End of your exhale, feet come to hands, hold the front of your mat, please. Good. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Okay, and as requested, we'll do that decompression in the low back. So you're going to slide your hands up your legs, and then prop your forearms on your thighs, probably like right above your knees. Okay, I kind of like to stack them, but you can do whatever works for you. The feet are about hips width apart, and the knees are kind of bent here, and you're rolling the way back into the heels till they almost come, your weight almost comes off the balls of your feet, but plug them down, okay? Now press your forearms into your legs to traction your chest forward, and then let the hips go back. So you might be feeling a stretch in the hamstrings or the glutes. But you'll notice that the more you press the forearms into the legs, you will possibly feel a little bit of decompression in the low back. To play around with the tilt of your pelvis, I want you to think about hollowing out your low belly so your tailbone kind of tucks. If you want a little bit more, bring the hands onto the thighs, okay? And press the hands into the thighs like you're trying to press your chest forward. Yes. Send the weight back, 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 back. So there's this lengthening happening in the hamstrings. Take a deep breath into your low belly. Exhale, root through the heels. So the back of the leg, you're probably pretty awake now. And then raise yourself up to standing. Good. Okay, inhale the arms out and up overhead. And then exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. And let's come back to that mudra we did at the beginning of class. So one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And just drop your awareness in and see what's going on in your internal landscape. What kinds of sensations or feelings or thoughts? And can you allow them to just move through? Take a deep breath in, please. And out. Okay. And then we're all going to step into a wide stance. Okay. Pivoting the toes out about 45 degrees so that when you bend your knees, they track towards around the center of your feet. So this is where, again, it's up to you, like how much you want to do this. So today's like a day where you're trying to build strength and fire. I'm going to encourage you to really let the hips lower. But as you let the hips lower, right, you're pressing the feet down and pulling them isometrically. That means contracting without moving. You're pulling the feet towards each other. So the legs are really awake here, okay? This is nice and strong and engaged. The shoulders are relaxed. So I'm going to encourage you to take a couple of shakes here. Nice, okay. And then we're going to inhale the arms out and up, straighten the legs just for a minute. And then exhale, bend the elbows, and interlace your hands behind your head if that works, okay? So this is a little bit of a heart opener, but I want you to pull your pubic bone up towards your low ribs that are cinched to keep the low back safe, okay? Inhale here, and then exhale, right elbow towards your right hip. Okay, inhale up through center, and then exhale other side. Inhale up through center, exhale right. Chest is open the whole time. Inhale up through center. Exhale left. A couple more times each side. Oh. Nice, you guys. Okay, next time you finish on the left side, we'll go back to center. Release the arms down in front of you. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up as you straighten your arms. And exhale, bring your hands, palms touching, thumb to the third eye. So that spot right above the brow. We're gonna do another kriya here. So you're gonna take on a two-part exhale, connect the thumb and the pointer finger like you're creating a diamond shape right in front of your third eye, okay? So on the exhale, we're gonna bend the knees and as you look between the diamond, okay? As you inhale, the palms will come together. You'll straighten your knees and pull in. My gaze is going up towards my third eye. My pelvic floor is lifting, okay? And then exhale, thumb and pointer finger touch. Nice. Inhale, palms touch. Pull up, 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 up. Exhale. Good, you guys. Again, inhale. Exhale. Look straight through that diamond you're creating. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the chest open, please. Two more. Inhale. Pull up through the pelvic floor. Exhale. Draw through the shoulders. One more. Inhale. Hold and lift. Exhale. Good. And then just go ahead and relax. Maybe you pivot your feet so you feel a little more stable. Shake out anything that feels tight. And then take a couple of breaths here. Good. Clearing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Step to the front of your mat, please. Tadasana. Root down through your feet. Shrug your shoulders up, back, and down. Open your chest. Palms are open. Good. Exhale here. Inhale, swoop the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back, and I'll leave this up to you, okay? So if you want to leave the right knee down, bring the right knee down to you. If you're feeling like you want to bring more strength into your practice this morning, keep that right knee lifted, and then inhale up, we come into our lunge. Good. Take an exhale to settle into your hips. Magnetize your inner thighs together. Lift your pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back to your plank position, please. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin on the floor. Inhale to your cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, float the right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pull the knee towards the nose and work the foot inside the hand. Make a decision on what you want to do with that left knee. And then when you're ready, inhale the fingertips up towards the ceiling. If you want to, good. Take one more breath here to feel the strength of your legs. And on your next exhale, hands to the floor. Step the back foot forward, find your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Palms touch. Interlace your fingers, temple mudra, right? So the pointer fingers are still pointing straight up. Lift the rib cage away from the pelvis, and then exhale, side stretch to the right. Come up through center, and exhale, side stretch to the left. Come up through center, we're just going to keep moving. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot steps back. Find your lunge. Once you feel stable here, inhale, float the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pull the arms back behind you and then down to the floor. And then step back to your plank position. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Hug the elbows in towards your body. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pull the knee towards the nose, foot inside the hand. Make a decision on what you're going to do with that right leg. And then when you find your stability, float the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Good, deep breath in. Exhale, pull your arms back behind you, down to the floor. And step forward to your fold, please. Good, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Strong legs. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. And this time we'll do a little baby back bend, right? So palms are touching with the sternum, the chest up. And then back as you wrap the glutes down the backs of your legs. Press the hips forward. And then exhale, Samasthiti. Hands at heart center in your Tadasana. Find your breath. And then again, find that mudra. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Feel and notice how your breath changes the shape of your body. Okay, hands to the sides of the body, please. Good. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog, please. Bring the insides of your feet together so you're really zipped up through your center line, okay? And then come up to the balls of your feet. Roll your heels to the left, and then bend your knees like you're tracking them over the center of your feet. And find a little bit of a side stretch here as you sway the hips to the left. Okay, and then come up through center and other side. So roll the heels to the right, and then bend your knees to track over the center of your feet, keeping the shoulders square as best you can. Okay, and then we'll come up through center. Okay. And then I want you to rotate the knees out and bend them so your bum starts to come towards your heels. Yeah, little squat here. And then inhale up through center. And then root the heels down. Then widen the feet to your natural stance. And then come down to your tabletop position again. Let's come off of the hands for a moment. So your hips come onto your heels. Interlace your fingers like you're making a fist, right? And we're just going to find a little mobility here. Okay, so you're going to stir a circle with the hands and the wrists in one direction. And then I don't know why it's so hard for me to like get my brain to convince my hands to go the other direction. So the other direction for the brain. Okay. Okay, and then shake them out. And like let this movement go all the way up the arms. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Back to tabletop. Okay. So just like we did before, we're going to extend the right leg back behind us and then lift the left arm and the left leg up. This is where I'm going to try to get technical with you. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So you're going to keep the palm of the left hand facing down. And just keep the right leg where it's at for now, and then just bend your elbow into a cactus arm to one side. So keep the shoulder blade glued to the back of the ribs, and then lengthen that arm out. Okay, so that's kind of step one. If you want to add a little more, the right knee is also going to bend and come towards your right forearm. Right, so we're here. This is another action you can do. So think about like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant, right? So that leg is coming up. I'm going to watch you as you do it. So make sure you're breathing. Yeah, you guys got it. Okay. Let's do that a couple of times. We're just like waking up the hips. Come back to center. Come back to tabletop position. Sway your hips from side to side. Okay. And then a couple of cat-cows. And then back to neutral. Okay. And then we'll just do the other side. So I want you again to start with the arm movement first. But we'll set ourselves up so the left leg steps back, the right hand comes forward and up. Lift both limbs off the floor, but don't move the left leg yet. And then begin to bend your elbow with the palm facing down. Try to keep the elbow in line with the shoulder. Keep lifting the low belly. And then inhale to straighten. And then maybe you bring the leg in as well. So you want to try to keep the pelvis still. Okay, I'm gonna watch you. Nice, you guys. Please breathe as you move. Okay, maybe one more. Good. And then come back to tabletop position. Nice, you guys. Sway the hips from side to side. Nice, cat-cow. Oh, and then a child's pose. Let's shift back. And you might take the variation now with the legs kind of close together and the arms along the sides of the body, the palms facing up. So you can let the shoulder girdle, the upper back round and melt over yourself. Breathe really deeply into your low back. Take a slow, deep breath in. And a slow, clearing breath out. And then as you're ready, come back up to hands and knees, please. Okay. And then we're going to come back into that dolphin variation. Okay, so start with the forearms come down onto the floor. And then we'll do the variation where you're interlacing the fingers so the palms are pressing together. And this will probably narrow the stance of the elbows, and that's fine. Okay. Think about like equalizing the weight in the forearms and in the outer edges of the hands, and you're pressing them down and towards each other. So what I'm trying to get you to do is to wake up all these muscles around your shoulder blades. Okay. And from here, you're going to hook your toes and lift your hips up into dolphin. So again, the knees can be bent a lot here, okay? But you're still doing like what you would do in down dog where you're rooting the heels down. And then maybe you walk the feet towards the arms a little bit, but continue to press down through the forearms and pull them towards each other, okay? Look forward a little bit if that feels safe in your neck. And then start to shift your weight forward. So maybe the chin comes to the knuckles. Ooh, okay, and then back. We can do this a few times. It's sometimes called dolphin push-ups. I want you to notice the movement of your shoulder blades, your scapulas. Like you're scrubbing them clean. Couple more times. Nice, you guys. Okay, come back to your regular dolphin. Okay, just like we did before in down dog, bring the insides of the feet together. Okay. Then start to sway your heels to the left and then bend your knees. Then come up through center, roll your heels to the right, bend your knees. And just do this a few times. So getting like a lateral stretch here and still working through the shoulders. Okay. The next time your heels are rolling to the left, go ahead and let yourself come all the way down onto your left hip. Okay, so I'm going to have my back to you, but you should be able to see me. Right, so you're kind of just in this like chaise lounge shape, right? The right hand is going to be on the right hip. And at this point, you might take the left palm and press it down into the floor, right? So kind of like this, okay? And then from here, you're going to use the strength of the muscles around your shoulder blade to lift your hip, okay? So I don't know if you can see this. This is where I don't know if this is going to fly or not on Zoom. But I want you to see, like, I could just be lifting my hip up and down, right? This is me using my shoulder blade. So there's this action of the forearm and the hand pressing down and then towards my body, like I'm pulling my elbow towards the side of my body, okay? So the legs are stacked, the elbow and the forearm is pressed down, and then slowly lift the hips up as you press your forearm down and towards your body, and then slowly lower it down, okay? So think about the movement starting from around your scapula as you come up and down. If you want a little more with this, you can start to lift that top leg off of your thigh as you lift your hips. Well, someone asked for strengthening, here you go. Okay, just a few more times. Nice. Breathe as you move. Nice, maybe 2 more. Then we'll come back to center. Stay in this side shape, please. Okay, where are you at this point? So you're here, right? Parallel your forearm to your mat, and then start to straighten your legs. Okay, so we're here. And then let the ribs sink down as the shoulder comes up towards the ear. So we're working towards a side stretch here. If this feels kind of wobbly, that top leg can come behind you. And just let gravity help you to open up the side body here. You might let the ear come to the shoulder. Nice. Okay. And then we'll roll onto our bellies and come into crocodile for a moment. Okay, so let the legs be wide, stack your hands on top of each other, rest your forehead on your hands, and let your shoulders relax. Maybe wiggle your hips. Okay, take another clearing breath. And then up to tabletop we come. Press yourself up, hands and knees. Okay, take a couple of scapula push-ups here. So you just kind of lower the rib cage down between your arms, keep the arms straight, and then lift them up. So you're just massaging into all those muscles we're working. Yeah, okay. And then we'll find dolphin pose again. So come down onto the forearms, please. Interlace the fingers. Okay. Find the strength of your low belly, right? To keep the low back broad, hook your toes, lift your hips up. Here we go. Okay. Do like 3 dolphin push-ups if you want to, right? So shifting forward and then back. Think about this movement being generated because your forearms are really grounded, right? So the movement's coming from the arms up. Okay. And then bring the inside soles of the feet together. And then again, roll the heels to the left, bend the knees. Roll the heels to the right, bend the knees. A couple of times each side. Okay. Next time you're rolling to the right, you'll lower the hips down. Right? So now you're in this side shape here. Let the palm of the right hand down onto the floor, bring the left hand to the hip. So I'm having you do this to keep the chest pretty open here, okay? And then, yes, you're going to use the strength of your hips, but if you can, I want you to think about how the shoulder blade, which is supposed to be extremely mobile on the back body, right? So we're just training all those muscles to kick in as you use that to lift the hips up and then down. And then up, and then down. And if you're really into it, that top leg might come up and then down. Oh gosh. Nice. Maybe like 3 more. Okay, we'll meet you back with our hips on the floor. And then we find that side stretch, right? So kind of rotate the forearm so it's parallel to the mat and top. And then maybe if you can keep the knees bent. If you'd like to explore straightening the legs, you can. And then you just let the rib cage sink down so the shoulder comes up towards the ear. And then just let your head hang. Few more breaths here. Good, okay. And then again, roll onto your bellies, please. Find your crocodile. So palms up, hands stack. Legs are usually about as wide as your mat. You might sway your hips a little bit here. And then find stillness. And deep belly breath, right? So you feel the tummy press into the floor as you inhale. Okay. And then we'll come up to tabletop position. Good. Okay. Quite a gentle side stretch here and hands and knees. Okay, so you're gonna extend the right leg back behind you with the toes tucked. Just lift up the foot just a little bit so you can pull the leg to the left. You're crossing your ankles here. And then look over the left shoulder as you press through the right heel. And come back to center. Bring that right knee underneath the hip. Find your alignment here. And then other side. So extend the left leg back behind you. Lift it just a little bit so you can cross it to the right. And then look over the right shoulder. And come back to center. Sway the hips from side to side. And then up we come into downward facing dog food. So hook the toes, lift hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. A couple more breaths here. Okay, take a deep breath in, please. As you exhale, bend your knees and look forward. And at the end of your exhale, bring your feet to the outsides of your hands. So this is where I suggested to some of you to maybe grab your throw pillows and whatnot to go under the heels as we hang out in a squat. Right, so I'm going to rotate around. So we're going to yogi squat here. Yeah. So there's tons of variations to this, right? So I feel like I don't have those things yet. You might just kind of lift up. If you can, I want you to get the elbows inside the knees. Yeah. And for a lot of us, we've got the palms touching. If this feels pretty open, you can take the fingertips and start to press the fingertips together to coax the knees to open a bit more here. But check in with the back, right? So you want the tailbone tucked just a little bit and the chest is puffing up. So you have that diligent, soft line of the spine here. Maybe wiggle the toes. Find a little lift in the pelvic floor, okay? And then start to press down into the feet more until you feel your leg muscles engage. And then slowly start to lift yourself up. Keep the spine long if you can. This one's a little bit of a burner, okay? Inhale, reach up, 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 up. And exhale, down we go. So keep the chest open the whole time if you can. Hands can come to legs at any time, okay? Knees are tracking over the center of the feet. Yes, you guys, good. I feel like we could do that one more time, right? Okay, press down through the feet. Strong thighs. Lift the pelvic floor. And then down we go. Keep the shoulders soft, please. Yeah, you guys. Okay. Nice. Okay. Now bring the hands behind your back and plop your bum down. Okay. And you might like grab your blanket or your pillow to sit on. But I want you to keep this kind of squat shape. We're going to do another weird stretch that sometimes lands for people. Sometimes doesn't. Okay. So we're gonna do basically like the funky chicken. You can take the back of your hand and bring it to the sides of your wrist. You're literally doing the funky chicken. This is my favorite one to cue. Okay. And then you're gonna take this elbow and bring it inside the knee. So some of you might be like, hell no. And then I want you to just back off of this one, okay? If this is working for you, now you have this really cool lever here, right? So you can start to squeeze your knees. Just start to squeeze. Don't hurt yourself. Okay. Have more breaths here. Okay. And then slowly come on out and shake it out. I hope those are good faces. Okay. And then we'll come to a regular seated position with the legs extended long. And I want you to lift your bum flesh up and back so that you're a little more connected with your sits bones, right? And I feel like most of you know this spiel about the low back, right? So you can tilt your pelvis by putting something underneath your bum. And if you're really like particular about this kind of stuff as I am, or if you like the landmarks, you're gonna take your heel of your hand to your hip points, and then you're gonna make this diamond shape, right? And in theory, you want the pubic bone to be like below the hip points. So it's like a straight line, okay? But don't over obsess over it. Okay, over here. Let's go ahead and take the sole. I'm gonna try to mirror you guys. Take the sole of the right foot inside the left thigh and extend the leg out to the side. Okay. Keep the left toes pretty active. And then keeping the chest nice and open, start to twist towards your bent knee. So this left hand will come to the knee. And then we'll twist to the other side. So start to rotate your chest towards the extended leg. Start by framing the extended leg with your fingertips, okay? And then begin to walk your hands towards your foot. It doesn't matter how far you go here, okay? But I want you to keep that opposite hip nice and heavy. So you're stretching again through the outer hip here maybe. And then the hand that's on the inside of the leg can start to cross over the top of the shin, reaching towards the outer edge of that foot. So it'll create a little twist here, maybe a little bit more of a stretch in certain parts of the hip. Breathe into your pelvis. Notice where the mind is going. Slowly come out of that twist. Keep the shape of the legs, please though. And then we'll take the right hand behind us. Swoop the left hand forward and up as you lift your hips. Maybe you start to point that left toe as you reach back and find a heart opener here. Squeeze the glutes. And then exhale, down we come. Oh. Okay, and then we'll switch sides. So the sole of the left foot will be inside the right thigh. Okay, the chest is open, the spine is tall. Engage the toes and the foot on the right side as you begin to twist your torso in the opposite direction. So what might happen for some of us is we start to feel a stretch in the inside of the thigh here as we do this. And you can notice, it's kind of cool, but you've got these muscles that attach to the bottom of your foot. So when you start to like manipulate what the foot is up to, you might feel things up the leg, which I think is kind of cool. Okay, one more breaths here. Okay, and then on your next exhale, start to unwind and twist towards the extended leg. Kickstand the hands to frame that extended leg. You're doing this to keep the spine long. And then keeping that left hip anchored, start to walk your hands towards your foot, stretching. And then the hand that is in the inside of the leg can start to cross over the top of the shin, reaching towards the outer edge of the foot. It doesn't have to actually grab it. That's just the trajectory. And then maybe the upper spine twists a little more. Or can you soften? Okay, exhale, please. Inhale, release the twist. Start to reach that left hand behind you. Right arm swoops forward and up. I'm gonna find this chest opener, squeeze the glutes. Oh, and then exhale down. Beautiful. Okay, and we're gonna make our way onto our backs, but you might shake the leg out a little bit before you get there. Okay, eventually rolling onto your backs with your knees bent and the feet on the floor. Good, and then once you get there, just rock your knees from side to side a couple of times. Massaging the hips and the low back. Okay, and then we'll explore bridge pose a bit here. So the feet are about hips width apart. Maybe walk the heels towards the bum a little more. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath the back, and we'll bend the elbows with the fingers pointing up towards the ceiling, okay? So this is a great option, particularly if low back is tender, to keep the arms in this shape because it helps to get some of the weight off of the low back, okay? You're gonna press down into your feet equally, and then slowly start to lift the hips. And as you do, the heels press down and back, so the hamstrings are awake. And you naturally let the weight start to roll up the spine. And then you'll notice here that you can press the forearms into the ground to help support the back here. If back bends are more in your practice, you might bring your hands underneath you and interlace your fingers, tuck the shoulders a little more. Breathing here. Nice. Okay, on your next exhale, if you're all still in the back bend, you're gonna slowly transition down. So you're gonna lower your hips down. And then again, windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Okay. And then option to explore the bridge pose again. If you're kind of over it, that's fine too. You can heel toe your feet as wide as your mat and knock your knees in towards each other if that's more appropriate for you. Otherwise, you'll set yourself up, right? So feet are hips width apart. Yeah, you guys are going for it. Okay, as you're ready, lift your hips up. Get curious about the intention behind your action. Two more breaths wherever you're at, please. And then we'll start to come out of whatever shape you're in. I love it. Slowly come back down onto your backs. Find some movement here if that works for you. So swaying knees from side to side. Okay. And then when you're satisfied with that movement, just float your feet up towards the ceiling. So it's like a really gentle inversion, right? So floating the legs up here. I love to shake my legs out when I get here. So like getting some openness in the feet and the calves. Okay. And while we're here, actually, let's do a little bit of movement in the feet and the legs. So get a little more engaged in the legs and then start to draw some circles with your toes. I always use this cue. I hope it lands. Think about like jazz hands for your toes. Okay, so like spread them as wide as you can. So you're getting mobility in the feet and the ankles and the toes. Oh, okay. And then switch direction. Nice. Okay. And then just for a moment, root the heels up towards the ceiling. So you're really targeting the Achilles and the backs of the calves, getting a little length there. Okay. And then we'll bend the knees and hug them into the body. Rock from side to side. Okay. And then bring the knees out. So you're going to grasp your kneecaps with your hands, like a nice decent grip. But get as relaxed as you can in the lower half of the body. So everything from the belly button down is totally relaxed as best you can. The hands are what are holding up the legs. So you're just getting a little softness in the pelvis here. And then slowly let the feet plop down onto the floor. Okay. Gently lift your hips up, shimmy them to the right, and then roll your knees down to the left, coming into a twist. Okay. So as best you can, get the shoulder blades on the floor, but don't force it, please. So I like to have my hands on my belly, but you can also extend your arms along the side. If you're wanting to try to find a little more openness in this lateral part of the leg, just start to straighten either one or both of your legs out. You can kind of come into like an L shape here too. Continuing to let the right shoulder rest down on the floor. Nice, okay. Gently come onto your back again. Float the feet up towards the ceiling again. Shake it out. Yeah. Maybe a happy baby in between sides, if that'll feel good. Right, so pulling knees towards your armpits, grabbing your feet, your ankles. I love it. It's like the kitties and the dogs know Shavasana's coming. So they start coming over to your mat. Okay. As you're ready, you'll just bend the knees, feet on the floor. Just a gentle twist to the other side. So lift the hips up just a little bit, move your hips to the left, rock your knees to the right. Okay. And then if you're wanting to try to get more into the lateral leg, you can start to straighten the leg. And typically, the closer you get the toes towards the face, probably the more you're going to feel it, the more intense it will get. Nice. Again, where can you soften? Okay, one more breath here, please. And then gently take yourself out of your twist. And then anything else you'd like before you come into your final relaxation. Any other movement or stretch or shape. You'd like to get a drink of water, put a sweater on, or whatever it is. And also a reminder that if seated meditation feels more appropriate for you today, that is an option as well if you want to sit with the spine tall. It's totally up to you. For many of us, this very unique experience we're having right now with the shelter in place is giving us an opportunity to dive pretty deep, which can be uncomfortable and strange at times, but also very illuminating. I'd like to invite you, before you drift off, to explore the layers of yourself. In yoga, we call these the koshas. They're the different layers of our existence. It starts with the physical layer, right? So the physical body, your skin, your flesh, bones. And you feel the density of your body. And then can you feel the aliveness of it? The movement of breath and blood. But also that innate intelligence of your cells to continue to reproduce, find homeostasis. Noticing your awareness, right? The thoughts and the stories, your ability to orient around situations, to understand. Can you notice emotions? And again, can you notice this part of you that is noticing? That is steady and unaffected by the movements, yet fully present. Continue to dive deeper into yourself to feel that innate wisdom and love that is you. In yoga, it's called the Anandamaya Kosha, bliss body. Om. Onamada. Onamidam. Onamupashati. Onasya. Onamadam. Onameva vashishyati. Om. Onamada. Onamidam. Onamudachati. Onasya. Onamada. Onameva vashishyati. Om. Om. Start to bring your attention back into your body, please. Just be with your breath. Okay, and then as you're ready, start to deepen your breath. To movement in your body. Slowly transitioning yourself back up to a seated shape. Taking your time. Okay, and as you come back into this shape, if you want to, take the palms together, hands at heart center, underneath the. If you can, like really wriggle the thumbs in to press into the sternum. Okay. Creating a little bit of pressure here. Allow the chin to tuck ever so slightly. As you put yourself in this mudra, this shape of reverence to yourself, to this practice, and to each other. We'll take a clearing breath together, and if you'd like to join, we'll close by chanting Om. Please take a deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth. And then an inhale to chant. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May you remember your true nature, which is love, trust, and reasonless joy. And may you remember that you are strong and wise. Thank you for being you and for sharing it. Namaste.